So if you have any comment or if you have any question to clarify this instruction, you need to turn on your mic.
Hello, Rishi.
Hello.
Veronique speaking.
Hello, Bernie.
It's nice to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you also.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes.
I've been very busy this past week, so I couldn't join really.
Uh-huh.
But I
Well,
just
you
want.
are here now.
Yes. Um, as I said, I was very busy and I didn't practice at all. I didn't take any time for practicing, but it was a very nice, very interesting time for me because I just wanted to know how I was doing without any kind of practice, without taking any time, quiet time for myself, and how I would do as a small self with this very busy life. Huh?
Aye.
And yeah, it's pretty interesting. It looks like I can be involved in all kind of activities and not losing this kind of inner quietude and there is something new. I don't know if you remember. I was sharing in Tiru that this quietude in me would go with a very a great lack of interest in life, a kind of flat line. Regarding anything in life, and it was a bit distressing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there is still this very clear lack of interest for anything, it doesn't go with any depressing feeling anymore. It's just like it feels rather that I don't know, the way it is. It just life of the small self is not really interesting. And instead of having this kind of depressing feeling, I now have this kind of tiny core of joy inside, and this doesn't move even when I get trapped in my stuff, and I get angry from time to time again, and but it's just like it just doesn't move that. It doesn't move that anymore.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So it's probably something nice to share, and I wanted to share this. As you say, when we are in the presence of our own awareness, there is this kind of going back to the heart, and I don't have this at all anymore. Now my sensation, if I put my attention on it, is to go. I go backwards. And I go backwards and backwards and backwards, and there is a really neat feeling of being taken backwards, and it's without any kind of intent coming from me, just like the movement of my awareness is going backwards. I cannot describe it, and it's endless. And it comes with any kind of excitement or interest or will me directing this movement. It just so happens, and it's very soft, and it's endless, and it's what my awareness is doing these days, and this I wanted to share. And
Yes.
even the asking questions is too noisy. I cannot do this anymore. It feels fake. The only thing which doesn't feel fake really is not moving and let it be, whatever it is, on whatever level of awareness it would be. Like I am involved in life, in stuff, and sometimes I get stuck a little bit, but it's exactly the same as being taken back or going from time to time in this very beautiful state of joyful presence, like everything is as it should be.
Yes.
So anything you would like to tell me about this backward feeling?
Well, first I just want to say thank you for sharing your experience, because it points to the understanding that comes when the self begins to not begins to, but when the self is recognized to be that which is real, and everything else in some way is unreal. So it's just a matter of whatever is going on is fine, because that self, that sense of I am here, that presence, I am awake, I am aware, that presence is not touched, as you said, by anything that's happening in the experience. And so the experience can just be what it is. One can be busy, or one can be stopped and quiet. One can be upset about something, one can be very joyful. But in all those instances, there's this recognition that who I am, what is here, is untouched by all of these experiences. And initially, as you expressed, and as we talked about in Tiru, there's this experience of not knowing what will follow. There's a sense of disinterestedness in life. And many people experience this disinterestedness as a kind of depression, or at least this is the word they use, or this is what they express that they're feeling. I feel as though I'm nothing. There's nothing here. There's nothing that interests me. I just am not interested anymore. And so thank you for sharing this, because it is something which everyone at some point will have to go through. But it's followed by the experience that you also told us about, which is that after that, there's just this unmoving core, or this unmoving being, or this unmoving sense of joy. And there's no longer an attachment to whether the experience that's happening is pleasant or unpleasant, whether I think I've responded well to the experience, or I think I have not responded well to the experience. I have gotten upset. But now there's no one there that's upset. There's just the happenings of life that are going on. All of this is happening within what Bhagavan and Vedanta calls parabdha karma. So once there is this recognition that I am this joy, which is unmoving, this awareness, which is here and can embrace all, can open to everything, then life just unfolds as it wants to.
Yeah, though I still have the feeling of some experiences are more pleasant than others. This didn't change. It's just like my relationship to that changed. Like
Yes.
I still prefer having some experience than some others. It's very clear, but I cannot. It's just like I cannot buy it anymore.
Yes.
And regarding awareness, I'm not. It's not like if I was aware of. I don't feel more aware than before. I am not aware of being aware. It's
Right. You see, all of these pointers that are always given in satsang, and that are given in books, and are given in ashrams and in trainings and retreats and so on, these are all pointers to get us to the place where we can live freely without the pointers. So meaning that once we've come to the place that you're now at, the process of recognition, of self-recognition, is no longer a mental process. There may still be some aspects of it which are part of the mental experiences we've had before. But more and more we become disinterested in them. So that doesn't mean that they don't still go on. We still have a mind. We still have mental processes. We just lose interest in them. And as we lose interest in them, we come to this place of understanding where we know without thinking, I am here. This is what I know. And this is even without an I, right? That's why I say we have to keep going back to this place before we come to where you are at. As we are doing sadhana, we ask this question, from whence does this arise? The reason is it strips away all of that mental activity, all that outward flowing energy. Once we've done that, we don't need to do that 1,000 times. Once we have done that and we've seen what you have seen, then we can just let the body and mind do what it does. And that which we are, this small kernel that you talked about, which is joy, is just there. And it's always there. And it's not impacted by what's happening in body and mind.
Can be clouded though. But even when it can be clouded
yes,
at times.
Of course it can be clouded as long as you have a mind. Because understand that this is one of the qualities of mind. Mind possesses many qualities, right? The intellect is able to calculate, it's able to think, it's able to project, it's able to conceptualize. It is also quite able to veil the truth of your own being.
Yeah.
So what you call cloudy, the scriptures call veiling. The most important instruction for you at this moment is to begin to understand that even when there is the appearance of cloudiness, this is not you. There is cloudiness in the mind, but I am not the mind. This recognition will help you continue falling, as you said, further and further and further into the self.
Even though any activity, I mean, wondering or questioning myself or self-inquiring is boring. It's too much. It brings me out of something which is more true.
That is true. And so that is not necessary for you anymore. Completely lay all of that down as you have done. Just leave it alone. Don't pick any of it up. But if you notice that some cloudiness has arisen, the simple instruction is, this is mind. This is the quality of mind that's called veiling. This is not who I am, and come back to the prior awareness. Very simple, very quick. The reason is that even in the place that you are at, it is quite possible if something that is quite, let's use for lack of a better word, large or disturbing in some way, there can be this thing that rises that says, oh, because I am seeing this cloudiness, this veiling, this big explosion in my mind or in my emotions, because I'm seeing this is an indication that I am not aware, or I am not awake, or I still have more work to do, so I better get back to it. I better get back to my sadhana. I better get back. It's much easier than that. Simply recognize that something is there, some disturbance is passing through, and leave it alone. Don't do anything with it. Don't feed it. Don't give it any emotion. Don't make any decisions about it. Just leave it.
Yeah. And at the same time, I feel much more in my body, in my flesh,
Yes, of course.
than I was.
Yes, of course. You see, this is why this practice today, for those people who have not had this practice before, asking this question, from where does this I rise? From where does this awareness come? The reason this question is there is because for many people, the inquiry, sadhana, and so on, even devotional practices, are very mental. And this prevents us from understanding that that which we are has a presence as the body. There's a difference between I as ego and I as the self. But both presences, I as ego and I as the self, have the felt sense in the body, I exist. So the way that we pursue, if you will, the source of being is to bring attention from the mental aspects of life, from sadhana, from the mental aspects of devotion and so on, from japa, all of that, from ceremony, from ritual. The way that we move that energy of devotion, of wisdom, of jhana, to embody it is to ask this question, from where does it come? Because there's not a one person in the world, if you ask them, where are you? Show me where you are, they say with their hand, I am here. No one says I am over there. No one says I am here. No one goes to this hand and says I'm right here. Everyone says I am here.
Yeah.
I am here. So this is the indicator that the presence of self realized will still have with it, in fact, maybe even enhanced, the sense that I am in the body. But now the I, which is in the body, is the self. It is not the ego. This I, which is in the body, is free of the body, free of the mind, free of the emotions. It is here, now.
But I don't know anymore what it means to be free of the body. It's why to be free of the body? It's wonderful to be in a body.
I'm not talking about to be free of the body as an experience, like you're going to become some etheric being. I'm talking about being free of the body in terms of being overly concerned with,
Yes.
I have a pain in my knee, I have a pain in my head, oh, my back aches. If you watch the great sages, watch the masters, you see that they, or hear about them, you will see that they often express that in their lifetimes they have had great physical pain, great illnesses and difficulties. And that the one thing that comes with the recognition of self is not that they have no more pain, it's that they are no longer affected by it. So this is what I mean by free from the body. I don't mean dropping the body. If the only thing we had to do to be awake, to be here now as the self, was to drop the body, then it would be easy. We could all die now. So that's not the answer. The answer is to be free of identification with the body, identification with the mind, with the conditions which rise in body and mind as a result of having a body and mind. To not
and then
suffer.
To be able, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And then it feels like, and then we are able to be even more in the body and in the mind.
Yes, if we are not
very
yes.
awakened in my body. I feel yes. Very much in my body, and my mind is.
The question becomes: if you feel very awake in your body, do you feel fear when you feel pain?
No, I feel pain.
Very good, very good. Pain is pain. Pain is pain. Pain is here. Same in the mind. If there is disturbance in the mind, there's emotional upset. All of these things in the mind. Those things are there. If you want to know whether or not you are progressing or you are moving forward or you have completed your path, ask yourself the question, when this arises, whatever this is there fear? If the answer is no, good. There you are.
There are still places of fear. I can see if I put my attention on it. It doesn't happen at the moment, but I can feel, yes, some places are not quiet, for sure, yeah.
Very good. Then keep going. keep coming to this place in the center of being where there is no fear. And eventually, there will be no fear when something rises in the body, or something rises in the mind, or something rises in the world.
So when there is this any perturbation, I would immediately now it becomes it's even not an application. It happens on its own, and this would be to slow down, not to feed this, and to come back to my heart, really to my heart.
Yes.
But it's not. It's something happening now. It's just like I don't have the possibility anymore to feed the turbulence,
Very
to
good.
give energy to it anymore. There is
Very
a kind
good.
of emptying of energy, and I come back to my heart. But this is when there is some perturbation going on in me or in my life. But if I am quiet, so this is most of the time now, immediately I am pulled back. I am really taken backwards. Anything you would
So
tell me?
this is the indication that there is still some instability in the recognition of self, because all this moving forward and moving back is this energy that I was talking about earlier, where the tendency of the mind is to move outward into thought from the heart, outward into thought, outward into the condition of the body, or what the experience of the body is, outward into the world. These are all what I'm referring to as the objects which are in awareness. So there is still this tendency to move out, and until the self is firm, fully established, complete, there will be an associated tendency to have this experience of seeming to fall back.
It's not so much like this, I don't have the feeling of moving forward. It's just like it's when I am quiet, as awareness, not as small self, as awareness.
Yes.
There is a kind of, but as awareness itself, it has this kind of, yeah.
So it's possible that all that's happening is just this natural for you, this natural flowing of attention, which is trying, I would say, you have to find the words for your own experience. I'm not trying to find the words for your experience, but it sounds as though you are still having this experience of the awareness itself sinking into itself. This is not different from the experience I was giving people as an exercise to move from here, from this recognition, I am aware, through the question, where is this coming from? Then this can give the sense of this falling into the heart of being. Are you happy with this falling into, or does it provoke something in you?
I don't know what to do with it, because I am not feeling I fall into.
Don't do anything with it. This is what your experience is in the moment, so let it be.
Yeah.
The reason I say this is because what is going to come to you at some point through this activity that you're engaged in is you will come to realize that there is nothing which is yours.
This is very clear, Rishi. This is very clear in me nowadays.
There is no going forward. There is no falling back. There is nothing here which is not the self. It is all the self. And when this happens, there is this kind of cutting that happens, and you can say, well, it's a loss of interest in the things I was interested before, in the world, in my own emotions, in engaging with anything, in doing any kind of practice, any kind of thinking. All of this begins to fall away. When you completely surrender everything, then the self simply says, this is it. Nothing more to do.
As you are talking, I can feel that there is still a movement. I am
Yes.
interested in a movement still.
Of
Yes.
course. Yes,
Yes.
you are. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for noticing that. Yes, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
When there is utterly no interest in anything but this recognition, I, there is just this recognition. This is a full body recognition, a full mind recognition, a full world recognition. All of this is I. And then there's nothing left to do. And there's no interest in anything that rises. So everything can rise.
But
or
still
nothing.
there are energetic, there would be energetic movement still?
Go there and see.
Yes. Thank you. I'm very glad to have met you again.
Yes, of course. Happy to know you too.
See you. Thank you.
Hi.
RishiJi, can I ask you something?
Yes, who is this? Atma Vidya?
Yes, it's me.
Okay, yes, hi.
Thank you so much. You know what Veronique just said, it's I'm actually experiencing something very similar, and recently there are more and more moments where I can see almost this body and I'm not this body, and if it comes so strongly, there's just so much bliss, and in the same moment something just wants to hold on to it, so then it kind of so I just see myself, okay, I'm sliding back, so there's like a distance, and I see so clearly I'm not this body, I'm just experiencing it, I'm in this body but I'm not this body. And then when there's this fascination coming, then there's just almost like a switch again.
Yes.
So, as if something wants to hold on to it, like, can I please stay somehow behind, if I can say it.
Yes.
So it was just, I'm always grateful for these moments, but it's just like the feeling wanting to be more stable in this recognition.
Yes, and so this is the reason why this instruction, cling to nothing, is so important. Because, you know, in moments of disturbance or in moments of unpleasantness, we are more than happy to give up, to not cling, to surrender that. But as soon as we come to this moment of bliss, say, oh, now we are grabbing, holding, wanting, keeping. Yes, but the instruction is the same. Cling to nothing. Nothing. And it can take some time. I remember when I was really involved in intensive practice every day for many hours, I was just like you. I was just saying, oh, what did I do? Okay, so I have to sit this way. I have to hold myself that way. I have to hold my head this way. I have to breathe this way. And then I can come back into this place of bliss. And it's through this that this instruction, cling to nothing, became very clear. Because each time that you try to cling to the bliss of your own being, to this recognition that I am the self, every time you try to cling to that, this is a form of identity or ego which is rising. It may be a very subtle form of ego or identity which is rising in that moment, but nonetheless, it cuts off your access to the self. It drops the veil of identity in the mind, in the heart, and cuts off the ability to remain as that which is aware as the self. So very good that you're noticing this. Yeah, yeah. The answer, of course, or the instruction is let go quicker. So as soon as you notice that what's rising is this tendency to want to cling to bliss, you have to let go quicker. Your goal is not bliss, remember this. What you are here for is to understand you are the self. Not to move into some state of mind which you find more pleasant. Although This is such a natural tendency, isn't it, for us as conditioned beings to move into what is pleasant? This is why it's always said in scripture that it can be much more difficult to let go of that which is pleasant than it is to let go of that which is unpleasant. But both clinging to the unpleasant through pushing it away and clinging to the pleasant by grasping it closer to us and trying to stay in that state, both have to be let go of. Eventually, when you come to this state that Veronique is talking about, where you've just lost interest in nearly everything and finally in everything, but this recognition that I am the self, you just have to keep letting go. You have to keep letting go. So beautiful. Yeah. Good work. Keep going. Hopefully what you notice, Atma, is that even as we speak here, and you just keep letting go, you just keep letting go, this sense of joy, this sense of bliss comes right back in this present moment. Can see it on your face.
Definitely, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So remember, the key is to keep letting go. Don't grasp or cling to anything. You are the self. You are not any experience which the mind or the body can have.
I'm so happy to see you.
Yes.
I just actually I don't have any question. I just wanna take this opportunity to to say hello, to express my joy, and to be in contact with you.
Yes, thank
Just
you.
to talking. Okay.
Where are you now?
We are still at Rishikesh. We
Okay.
are stuck here. Yes.
You are
I
not
don't know.
stuck. You are not stuck there. You are stopped there.
I stopped there for 6 months.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
And we are still all together, all Russians.
Yes, give my love to everyone, please, from the
Of
Rishikesh
course.
Satsang. Mm-hmm. I only said that to you, Yulia, because I've had this same experience in some way. You know, I was, as most of you know, I was just when I was in Tiru last year, I was saying to myself, I am coming back, so I'm going back to the US. I am sweeping everything away and coming back to Tiru. I was feeling very strongly to do that, and I left Tiruvannamalai and I got to Bangkok, Thailand, and was spending a few days with my son. And by the time I left, I could just barely get out of Thailand. And when I went through Tokyo, there was about, those of you that have been through Tokyo know that this is a big, beautiful, Harita is a big and beautiful modern airport in Tokyo, and it is often just completely jammed with people. And when I got to Harita, there was about a dozen people in the airport, and I was wandering through, and when I got to my flight, which was the usual flight coming to San Francisco or somewhere, and it was an international flight, so 350, 400 people or something like that. And I think there was about 30 people on the flight, and there was no activity on the on the tarmac outside of the airport at all. And so I came here, same plan, you know, the mind has its plan, same plan, came here, started to shuffle things around, and where can I put things, and where can this go, and who gets that, and who wants that. And within about 3 or 4 days, everything just stopped. And so I also felt this feeling of, oh no, I am stuck. But then I realized, oh no, not so much stuck, it's just stopped, you know. So then the question naturally rises, how can we use this feeling of being stuck or stopped, which we're all of us feeling now, you know. And this is for those of us who are sadhaks in this life, you know, to be stopped is a good thing. It may not be where we would have chosen us to be stopped, but our task is still to find some way to realize the self in the midst of this stopping. The whole world has come to a stop, so it's been of great benefit actually to many, many people, and I hear this all the time now. We've been stopped for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and though we sometimes grow weary of that, many people who are sadhaks are also recognizing the blessing or the opportunity that's here as a consequence of us not being able to follow our minds around the planet wherever we want to. So we have to come in some way face to face with ourselves in this stopping. Yeah. And even sometimes we are saying, yes, I am willing to stop. No problem. I am a sadhak. I am willing to stop. That was the first month. The second month, oh yeah, the second month, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm sadhak. I'm still willing to stop. I'm stopped. Okay. Month 6, we are not so sure about. So if we are still stopped 6 months or a year from now, each of us will face that challenge of where is our ability to remain stopped and remain present in what is here now. What is this? For however long this goes on, you know. Those of us who have had this fantasy throughout our lives that all we ever wanted was to find a cave somewhere and go away from the world and just practice. This has been our dream for a long, long time. Well, now we are stopped. Now we are in our caves. And even those people who have said, all of my life I have wanted to be stopped, are now going, oh, so this is what it looks like to be stopped. Now I'm not so sure. This is what I wanted. But stay with it. Just keep knowing that your task is to live and to ask the question, what is the opportunity that I'm being presented with right now?
Somehow life shows us why we are here, and it is also always about self-discovery.
Yes.
Because it's like everyone who is around, like a little mirror.
A little what?
Mirrors.
Yes.
And we learn from each other.
Yes.
Not learn, but
this is the mirror of the self, yes.
And, you cannot avoid this experience and this, I don't know what.
Yes.
Because you are always with the same.
Yes.
You have to watch directly what life shows you. You cannot avoid it.
Yes.
So it's nice.
So what you cannot avoid, you must embrace.
Yes. That's how love appears.
Yes.
Flourishing.
Yes. Beautiful. Yes.
Yes. Actually, those days I feel how hard I'm cold, how it's flourishing and and opens, how it opens. Whew, very good.
Very good. So we are coming up to the end of our time together this weekend. Is there anyone else who has anything they'd like to say?
Hi, Rishi.
Hello, Pooja.
Hello.
Hello.
Um, I wanna maybe check in where I am because I've been feeling that in this stopping, I've been very much inward, of course, like in the practice and this recognition, and it feels like I've been very much by myself, and it feels like that maybe it is good to also move outwards and have more of this reflection, and I don't feel it's like an interest outwards that is happening, but maybe there's a little bit of it also, and to be like not in an intense environment or anything like that, but also to kind of let life move, now, like it feels like it's natural in this way.
Is this your decision?
It's a listening. It feels more like a listening. Before it was a reaction, I just wanted to get out of this situation.
Yes.
And I was just avoiding it, just stay, it was I just wanted to stay, to be, yeah. And I feel that with staying, it came to a lot of peace, and reactions that was before, like anger, or they're not so present. They're, but I also feel like even though they would be present, that's also a seeing, like if they are present, then it wouldn't be a problem or something. But I also I feel like the mind is peaceful in a way, like I can see that is maybe it's also a bit numb or something. Yeah.
So then where does the movement to leave that peace and go out into the world come from?
That's very strange because I feel it's just so much peace. That there's no movement to go out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not possible. And there's no division also, like go out or in between outside or inside.
Beautiful. You see, if you come to this place where you recognize that this peace is your nature, then you want to, there's a natural tendency in the mind to want to somehow step out and to, not that there's a thought about this, but there's just a tendency that rises to want to step out in some way and almost to test the stability of this peacefulness or this joy that you feel. But if there's no, as you say, but if there's no recognition that by stepping out, there is an outside and an inside, there's just a flowing that's happening, and it's happening from this peaceful center of being, which is your nature, then what difference does it make whether you step out or you don't? See, it makes no difference at that point. So just be aware that if there is still some mental deciding going on, should I, shouldn't I, is it time, is it not time, should I test this piece or not test this piece, just stay in it. If there still is that mental activity going on, then there is still some subtle ego is playing in that field. So just be aware of that. Because if you are fully the piece which is your nature, or the self, or however you want to term it, if you are fully that, this question just doesn't arise in the mind. There is activity and then there is inactivity. There is talking and then there is silence. There is, but there is no decision-making process going on about it. It's all very natural. It's arising spontaneously. It's falling spontaneously. Everything is just allowed to be as it is. So just remember that if you feel some conversation or some attempt in the mind to decide I should do this or not do that, that this is the subtle game of the mind. So just recognize that and keep quiet. In other words, tell the mind, keep quiet. When it's time for me to move, I will move. When it's time for me to act in some way, I will act. When life itself wants there to be some other thing going on, then what is here now will change. I, as an ego, mind, I don't need to decide that. My task is just to keep quiet and to enjoy this peace, so that there is this recognition that I am that peace under all circumstances and all conditions. Then you can go wherever life sends you and you can do whatever life requires of you to do, or you can stay and do nothing. And in either case, the mind will keep quiet because it's just enjoying the peace of your own being.
Yes. Yeah, I can see there's sometimes there's a play for sure of the mind here. Yeah.
Yes, but you can see, I see in your face, you can see that this, even just to talk about this in satsang, is a way of letting that mind, if you will, settle back into itself. So the question just begins to dissolve, and you settle now back into your own self. So allow the feeling or sense that you might want to, or you might need to move out in some way. Allow it to be satisfied with this very gentle moving out by just expressing yourself in satsang, and looking at the way in which the mind wants to make a decision about something. As soon as you let that go, that you recognize that is what is happening in the mind, then you settle right back down into the peace which you are. This is the meaning of the instruction, keep quiet or keep silent. It doesn't mean nothing rises in the mind. It means do nothing about it and let life take care of whatever needs to come next. It will. Rest. Remain as you are.
If this seems like if it comes as a will from inside, like a movement, and not like it happening, you know, because it feels like it's coming also in a way, like it would be better for me because I barely walk outside or anything like that, so it's also a health situation or something.
Is there a problem that you barely walk outside or go out?
Because I don't enjoy where I'm staying, so I stay inside only.
And what is the problem with staying inside only?
After a few months, it's not so good for the body and for the heart.
Yeah, that's true. If you can exercise in your room, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But also, understand that even to say it's not such a good thing for the body, it is still an indication of some identification with the idea that I am the body, or with the idea that whatever is here now, however I'm living here now in the mind, is not okay. So there is still this underlying, there's still this undercurrent of belief, I am the mind, I am the body, I am the world, and I have to be a certain way in it. So I would encourage you to question that. Are you the body? Are you the mind? Are you the ideas of what your life should be or ought to look like, or what you ought to do or should do? You really begin to dig into that right now in this moment, and begin to understand that the very idea that I am the body and I am the mind is the way that we are trapped in the recognition of not self. And this is why today I would have been encouraging everyone to move this activity in the mind down into the heart by inquiring, asking this question, from where does this awareness rise? The reason is that this is the way of sadhana which will keep bringing the attention which wants to go out for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's a good reason or it's a bad reason. So I'm not judging that at all. I'm not saying, you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying there is this tendency which rises and wants to thrust us outward. And this sadhana draws us back in. It doesn't mean we never go out again. It just means that we are using this time of isolation, of quiet, as an opportunity to become firmly rooted in the self, not in the body, not in the mind, in the self, so that when we move out again into the mind, into the body, and into the world, we absolutely are clear that I am that which is aware. I am not this activity, this desire, whatever. Yeah?
Yes.
If you are destined to be outside in the world at some point, you will not be able to prevent that from happening. This will be the natural course of things for you. So don't force yourself to leave your peaceful solitude. Take this opportunity. And even if you do go out to exercise or whatever, to go for a walk or whatever, keep your sadhana going, strengthen it at that time when there's a lot to look at, when there are lots of objects. Strengthen it at that time. Say to yourself, ask this question: am I aware? This is a simple question. This is not a big sadhana. It isn't something that you need to push hard over and against whatever experience you're having. You just need to let the experience be as it is and ask yourself, am I aware here, now? And let whatever the experience is be what it is. So we're not arguing with it or fighting with it. We're just allowing the experience to be whatever it is, whether we are inside or outside, whether we are required to stay in physically or whether we are required to go out. Let life decide. Life always gives us what we need. The situation we are in is always perfect for our sadhana.
Yes. Thank you.
Of course. All right, dear ones. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvavrukamiva Vandinam Mrityor Mukshya Mamritawa Swaha Uva U Om Sat Jung Om Om. Only love.